How accurate is solar modelling really? And can it be trusted to help you make a 25-year investment decision? I was asked this the other day by a client, and I realised that we're one of a few businesses that can actually answer this question, because we've been installing solar for 15 years now, and we have access to the monitoring from those systems that we fitted all the way back in 2010. Now, in 2010, we used to offer two different models to our clients. One is called PVGIS, which is equivalent to the MCS models that we all use nowadays. So I'm going to look at how the model predicted the systems would perform and compare them to how those systems have actually performed. As well as annual generation, I'm going to take a look at how accurate the modelling is on a month-by-month basis. Is it predicting one month consistently more accurately than it's predicting others? I'll also see whether solar panel degradation has played a role in the system's performance. I was very surprised by the result. To start with, let's take a look at a 50 kilowatt ground-mounted solar system that we fitted on the 5th of December 2011. The system is comprised of 212 solar panels and 3 different inverters. The panels are pitched at 30 degrees and the system is perfectly south-facing. The shade analysis that we ran in 2011 predicted an annual yield reduction due to shading of 1.81%. The panels that we used back in the day were the ET Solar 235 watt, which were warranted to still be providing 90% of their original power generation after 12 years. We'll look at whether the module degradation has played a part later on in the video. So back in 2011, the MCS modelling predicted that this system would generate 52,070 kilowatt hours per year. You can see how it was expected to perform throughout the year on screen now. The best month for generation was expected to be June, at 6,520 kilowatt hours, and the worst month of the year expected to be December, at 1,620 kilowatt hours. Unfortunately, the monitoring for this system didn't come online until mid-2012, so our first full year of data is 2013. Well, in 2013, the system generated 52,158 kilowatt hours. That means that the MCS modelling was accurate to within 0.1%, which is astonishing. In 2014, the monitoring was offline again for a few months, so we don't know how the system performed. But in 2015, it generated 51,490 kilowatt hours. This is less than in 2013, but still the MCS model remains remarkably accurate, generating 98.8% of what it was expected to. In 2016, the system generated nearly 1.8% more than expected. The worst year for this system's generation has been 2017, when it only generated 47,263 kilowatt hours. That's less than 90% of what it was expected to generate. I've dug into this data and it doesn't look like the system was performing poorly for any technical reasons. In June and July, it actually generates more than the previous year. I think 2017 must have been a generally poor year for solar generation. We'll see if this is consistent with the other systems that I'm going to look at in a second. The best year for generation has been 2022, 10 years after the system was commissioned. It generated 54,661 kilowatt hours, which is just shy of 5% more than what it was expected to generate when it was brand new. So this brings me on to solar panel degradation. These panels were warranted to still be providing 90% of their original peak power output after 12 years. So is that the case with this perfectly south-facing system? Well, according to the panel degradation warranty, you'd be expecting the system to output 46,620 kilowatt hours in year 12. And look at what it's generated so far in 2024, 46,676 kilowatt hours. Now, I'm writing this case study a quarter of the way into December 2024. And looking at previous years, I'd be expecting the system to generate at least another 1,000 kilowatt hours this month. In 2023, the system generated 50,000 kilowatt hours. From 2018 to 2023, it was consistently generating from 53 to 54,000 kilowatt hours per year, discounting 2021 when it was offline. So I think 2024 is just a coincidence. I don't think the panel degradation has had much of an effect on the system's performance whatsoever. Obviously, to know exactly how the panels have degraded, we'd have to put them back in standard test conditions and repeat the original tests. But this is a pretty reassuring indicator that it's not played much of a part in this system's performance. So what about the monthly breakdown of generation? On screen now, you can see the expected monthly breakdown for the solar system's generation throughout the year. This is what percentage of total annual generation the MCS model thinks will happen in each month. And this is the average over the past 12 years. December, on average, has been generating 75% of what the model expected it to. There are 3 particularly poor years dragging this figure down quite significantly, but when you get rid of those, it's still averaging only 88% of what the MCS model thought it would generate in December. The first 10 months of the year are all pretty accurate. July is averaging 7 percentage points more than expected. This is very interesting, and I know the client has been very impressed with the performance of his solar system from 2011. Now let's take a look at another system that Spirit Energy, or Spirit Solar Limited as we were called then, installed in 2011. This system was actually commissioned on the 4th of January 2012 and is based in Finchley, North London. Again, this system is using the ET Solar 235 watt panel. There are 70 in total, reaching a total power capacity of 16.45 kilowatt peak. The inverter is a 17 kilowatt SMA. The panels are pitched at 10 degrees and the system is 22 degrees off south, and there's no shading on the system. Unfortunately, we only have around 11 years of data from 2012 to mid-2023, but that does give us 10 solid years to dig into and see if it's performing in line with the MCS model. In 2012, the system generated 98.1% of what it was expected to. The next year, it generated only 95% of expected generation. In 2014, it was almost perfect and generated 0.4% more than expected. In 2015, the system generated 1% more than expected. In 2016, it started to downturn and only produced 97.7% of the modelled output. 2017 was especially bad, as it was with the 50 kilowatt system that we just looked at. Then in 2018, it comes back up to 100.5%. The best year for generation was 2020, when the system generated over 16,000 kilowatt hours, which is 7% more than expected. From 2012 to 2022, it generated on average 14,829 kilowatt hours per year, which is 98.8% of what it was expected to generate. That's pretty accurate. Let's take another look at the degradation of the solar panels. These are the exact same solar panels as in the earlier example. As the warranty states, assuming 10% peak power output is lost over 12 years, you'd have been expecting this system to generate around 13,400 kilowatt hours in 2022. But it didn't. It generated 14,798 kilowatt hours. In 2020, when the generation was through the roof, you'd have been expecting it to generate 13,710 kilowatt hours, but it reached 16,067 in total. It's tough to draw conclusions about panel degradation from this data because we don't remotely have lab conditions, but it really doesn't appear to be playing any part in the system's performance. So how accurate was the MCS model's monthly breakdown in this case? On screen now, you can see the expected monthly breakdown for the system's generation throughout the year. And this is the average over the past 12 years. As we saw with the first system, December and November are quite far off. The system is actually generating 75% of what the MCS model expected it to. This is almost identical to System 1. November is generating 78% of the expected portion of generation. January was also quite inaccurate, only averaging 84% of its share of expected generation. The rest of the year, however, is very good. February has an astounding 99.96% accuracy from 2012 to 2022. June is 99.93%. August is 99.72%. So it seems that the MCS modelling is really good at predicting monthly breakdowns, apart from in winter. It really over-egged the expected winter generation for these two systems. Finally, let's take a look at a smaller 3.99 kilowatt peak system in Taunton. Again, this system went offline at the start of 2023. This is presumably when the inverter failed after 11 years, and we've lost the monitoring because the inverter was probably replaced with a different brand. All of the systems that I've been looking at in this video have got inverters from SMA, which is what we were using at the time. The system is made up of 21 Suntech 190 watt modules and is connected into a 4 kilowatt SMA inverter. It's pitched at 30 degrees and is also oriented 22 degrees off south. The system has consistently outperformed the MCS model by up to 13% in the case of 2014. I was a bit surprised by this, and I expected there to be more of a spread as with the other systems. So I went back and checked the original calculations, but they all look fine, so I do trust the data. On average, this system has generated 6% more than what the MCS model reckoned back in 2011. Again, looking at the panel degradation, you'd be expecting it to be around 3,600 kilowatt hours in 2022, but it actually generated 4,321 kilowatt hours, which is 7.1% more than the model expected, and is actually an above average performance for this system. Looking at the difference between what the MCS model expected the annual monthly breakdown to be and what it has actually been, it looks to be more accurate in this case. November is still wildly inaccurate at 83%, however December is 95% accurate. The rest of the year is generally accurate as well, with April and September averaging within 1% of what the model predicted. So, the conclusion. How accurate is MCS modelling? And can it be trusted to provide the data which you use to work out the future return on your investment? I think that it's a decisive yes. The first system that we looked at has been generating on average 99.18% of the expected annual generation. The second system is 98.8%, and the third system is 106%. What's really surprising is the lack of notable panel degradation. This is not remotely a scientific test, but I was expecting to see a steady graph showing how the system's performance has gradually diminished. But that's not the case at all. The MCS model is even accurate with its monthly predictions, and for 9 of the 12 months, it can accurately break down the annual generation. It's not very good when it comes to November and December though. It's really overestimating how much of the annual generation comes from those 2 months. All of the systems that I've looked at in this video were fitted in the glory days of the feed-in tariff, so the owners will still be receiving huge payments from the government. On initial look, the first system, the 50 kilowatt one, has saved over £250,000 since 2011. That's an ROI of over 500% in the first half of the system's lifetime. That's extraordinary. Please do take a look at our other videos. I recently filmed a case study series which documents one of my clients' journeys getting solar from point of inquiry to point of install. It's a great example of what you get when you request a quote with Spirit Energy, and I recommend checking it out. Thanks for watching.